And Mike, you need the roll 20? Sure. Here you go. Let's put a dot in there. It should get you in there. And I've tentatively named this session The Wild Ones because I basically spent 20 minutes looking for a module that I could just run from Cyberpunk 2020 to see if we could do it with this system. But it seems like everything I bought doesn't have a module in it. So instead, I'm just looking. I looked at some Night City stuff with like gangs and just randomly throw stuff together. So we'll see if that was a good plan or not. But first thing we can do is, well, for one, Ray, welcome to, I guess, your first Gauntlet game. I picked Ray up on Twitter.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you haven't played with the Gauntlet before, so just so you're aware, we use the X card as well. So if you put up your hands like this or you type X, we'll know to stop, rewind, and see what the problem was, and then rewrite it. I think for this session, it's just basically going to be testing out the mechanics. I'm probably just going to throw some foes at you with some very thinly veiled preconceptions, and we'll see if you survive, basically. The Cyberpunk 2020 way, as far as I can tell after reading that core book. And from what I've heard from everybody else, it's aim for the head, right? Don't have to worry about it in this one. It's more free than that. We're going to be working in a narrative framework, not quite so trad. So in terms of retro feel, I have some Pinterest stuff up to get you guys in the right headspace. But essentially, I'm picturing it as all of the gear and cybernetics from Cyberpunk 2020 and that aesthetic. So think like 80s leather, mirror shades, badass stuff. The streets are really gross, really over-policed, but yet very dangerous from all the gangs around. We're in like an unnamed city. It seems like everyone's go-to is always like something that seems kind of like Miami, right? It's like hot, humid, smells like trash. Things are just like seemingly in paradise, but kind of a trash fire everywhere else, right? Unless you're very rich. So let's see. Let me just get, oh, you pasted the document. Cool. Does everybody have the document then open? Cool. So I don't share the document around because some of those pictures in there are just ripped right from Pinterest. That would be bad. The actual image I can use because I actually bought it from Johnny Gray's Patreon, but everything else is that's a no-go. Is everyone familiar with the veil and the die mechanic? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, that makes things easier. So we're going to do the same thing. When you roll a die, you'll add an emotion spike. If you roll the emotion opposite to it, you'll remove the spike and add it to that one. And in that way, you'll be mitigating the emotion spikes and being maybe more dynamic. So if people want to check out the archetypes, I've made it so that whether you're playing Shadowrun or Cyberpunk 2020, you should be able to get your like skill jocks, skill monkeys, whatever they call it in those ones, into the aces. As you can see, I put a couple examples, but aces are anyone who's really good at a specific skill set. And these three archetypes are directly inspired from the White Hack. So in my own way, I'm living vicariously through the White Hack, which I've always wanted to play, but never gotten to. In the second paragraph of each archetype, it tells you, or the third type sometimes, it'll tell you how much harm you can take, how many gear slots you have, and how many class slots you have, which is usually just one. and your class slot following the name of it will tell you exactly what you can do. So in a class slot for aces, you can put exactly what it is that you're good at, and then all of the fictional positioning around that. It allows you to roll the dice without disadvantage. If you're doing something without your fictional positioning, then you have disadvantage on the die roll, and that's basically it. So if you're an assassin and you go to, strike someone from the shadows, you just roll normally. But if you're an assassin without a weapon or something like that, or some other circumstances, like maybe you're an assassin in full view of a booster who's, jacked up on some drugs or something, and you enter head-to-hand combat, you might have disadvantage on that because that's where the boosters are very good at what they do. A booster is essentially the melee combat, strong guard knight, that kind of archetype, except pulled over to a cyberpunk flavor. And then pushers are sort of like weird cyberpunk wizards, where basically we're assuming that almost everything is sending data packets in and out. So everything has like Wi-Fi, or it needs to be connected to the Veil in some way, which is the internet in this game. And pushers can basically do essentially kind of like magic on the fly. In terms of hacking, in terms of making illusions happening, just like in Neuromancer, the book, the actual Neuromancer, that's what they did. They hacked people's eyes, and then they saw illusions and stuff like that, even felt tactile sensations and stuff like that. So your class skill for each of those things is defining something like that. So if you're a pusher and you have a class skill, you could say, I'm a really good hacker. And when you go to, hack an ATM for money, or if you go to hack somebody's cyber eyes so they can't see you anymore, etc., you have the fictional positioning to do that. And vice versa, if you're a booster and you want to hack something, then you'll have disadvantage if we even decide that you have the capabilities to do that. So much in the same way as the Veil, all of the equipment that you have in the game and all of your class skills, which are your broader fictional positioning, is all just to say that if you have advantage or disadvantage or not, and fictional positioning. So I've tried to make it less crunchy, but we'll see how that flies. I've tried to make it just simple with you have a normal roll or you have disadvantage, but we'll see how that works. Also, this is pretty much squarely within the punk movement or just after it. Generally, the settings for retro punk is that you are still in the punk movement, except it's been cyberized, right? So you're part of a subculture. You've probably got tattoos. Generally, the ink in cyberpunk games that are retro are a little bit different. Sometimes they're gifs that moves and stuff like that. Sometimes they're neon. Lots of different stuff like that. So you can use your imagination for what your character looks like. But generally, all of you will look like punks in one way or another, belonging to that subculture in the game, if that makes sense. Otherwise, you can choose how you look and everything. It might just be kind of Matrixy, where you look kind of regular, but you're wearing all leather and stuff. Or you could go full-on punk, like in the picture with the guys' tattoos of Shell and Pepsi and all that kind of stuff. And the idea is to basically shove the logos back in the face of the corporates, right? You can kick their teeth in with their own logo and kind of make a point. And I think that's about it. I also moved over to Eurodollars just because Cyberpunk 2020 uses that. And in terms of the cyberware and the gear and stuff like that, I thought it would be neat to use the same dollar as Cyberpunk 2020 since it has 2020 in the name. This is kind of supposition on my part for what Jason is looking for, so hopefully it's good. But everyone starts with $500 and you can buy whatever you like, but each weapon, armor, and cyberware counts towards your gear slots. So I think it should still be a fairly quick character creation process. You just spend $500, choose your archetype, slot in your class skill for what fictional positioning you want, and you're pretty much ready to go. Does anyone have any questions? Victor?
No, not really. Well, okay, so character sheets. How are we filling these out? You seeing that it's slightly different than your Veil sheet?
Yeah, basically all you'll need to use the Veil sheet for is to probably in your equipment and stuff, you can just write what you need
just
to
in
write.
the gear section and whatever.
Yeah, and then the only benefit of using the Roll20 sheet is just so that we can use the die mechanic and for it to
Makes sense.
Just be easy. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So if you're an ace, you can take 5 harm. You have 3 gear slots and 1 class slot. If you're a booster, you can take 6 harm. You have 5 gear slots, so more, and 1 class skill, which translates to you being able to use one of those melee combat moves whenever you like, once per session. And then pushers can take the least harm and have 4 gear and have a cyber deck, interface ports, and 1 class skill. So pretty straightforward, I think. If anyone has any questions, just let me know, because that'll be informative for what I should ratify in the actual text.
Does cyberware count towards gear?
Yeah.
Okay. Even if it's implanted?
We'll say no then. Okay. I'll make a note, because that doesn't really make sense. So I'll just write beside implants.
Yeah, that was the big pain in the butt with the old playing 2020 or whatever it was the shopping for gear bit.
Yeah.
Took us forever when we were playing it way back when.
Yeah, I tried to abbreviate it to just the really flavorful, interesting things.
Yeah.
But we'll see, because man, I went through Cyberpunk 2020. It's just pages and pages of that stuff.
Oh, and there's other books. There's just books of gear and guns. There are books dedicated to just guns.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So what's everybody's archetypes?
Yeah, what are people thinking?
I'm not leaning towards pusher. That's all I can say right now. So if anyone else is thinking that would be good.
I was thinking of a booster. That's kind of what I'm playing around with in my head right now.
Booster sounds really fun. Because boosters are kind of specifically melee, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And their slot is consumed by using those moves. In the white hack, which I had flip-flopped on, is you have a class slot, and you actually dedicate one of those 8 moves specifically to that. Like, you learn the move, and that's what you can continue to do.
Okay, so it's retroactive leveling up, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. But
kind of Bladesy, where it's like, I knew how to do this the whole time, but also I don't know how to do anything else right now.
Yeah, and then you get the number of slots equal to your level with it, and then you just learn more moves as you go up, with generally the max, even in white hack, being level 10. But I'm trying out a different way with this and just saying that your slot consumes one of these moves, and you just make the appropriate move per one, and then you get more slots as you level up. I think that'll be a little bit more dynamic, and it makes like more sense in my head than the fighter who's just like, I only know how to do this one move until level 2. But we'll see in practice if white hack had it that way for a reason or not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of...
There's this sort of thing I'm doing right now, which is looking back and forth between the gear and the archetypes to try to see what's possible for what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted someone with a grenade launcher, but like 3 different types of grenades, could I even do that? Like, I'm not sure.
Right. Let's see.
Extreme weapons. Oh, I can't even afford a launcher, so never mind. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So with the pusher,
Mm-hmm.
for gear there, it's the 4 gear slots plus the cyber deck.
Yeah, you already have that on you.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
Yeah. And you've got your interface plugs and all that action. It doesn't count towards your load and whatnot.
Okay, because I'm thinking I'm going to go that direction. Do the pusher, try it out. That used to be the pain in the butt class in
So I've heard.
2020 because it was very when they started doing their thing, everybody else got bored.
Yeah. I looked at when I was scanning the book, it looked like the GM had to make like basically a minefield from Minesweeper for them or something. And
It
then
looked a lot like Minesweeper. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it played like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was challenging. It was basically a split the party kind of situation all the time. So as long as you can avoid doing the split the party kind of thing and you can integrate with this, I think you'll do good.
Sweet.
If I wanted to be an ace, like sniper, like I can't even afford that. I'd have to start with just a machine pistol or something and then steal enough to get a rifle, which is, it's kind of cool. I like the thought that we would start, really low, but it doesn't really feel like it's made for a one shot in that sense.
Yeah, that might be true.
Here's a suggestion for you. You can, or at least this is something that we had done way back. You had your gear limit that you started out with, but you could get something bigger, but that indebted you to somebody.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
if you guys
we always kind of did that. It's like, yeah, but I want this thing. Okay, so and so has it in for you now, or whatever.
Right. The debt is you stole it and they're gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
That or they gave it to you for a reason, and you better do that thing they want you to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'd be up for that, especially for a one shot. Might as well go big or go home with it. And I want you guys to be excited about what you're playing. So if you want to have more money, that will be completely fine with me.
Well, I have a pitch in that case, which is I am leaning towards this grenade launcher thing, but I stole it from a corporation, and I don't know that they track every grenade that's fired with it.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Sounds like if a mist pops up at some point, that might be a good thing.
Like if I shoot from behind cover, they're like, "Oh, he's over there." I'm like, "Oh, great! I didn't. How did you find me?"
Yeah. Yeah, because if you were an ace sniper, you could probably just buy a main weapon that was a sniper rifle, and you'd have $50 left, which isn't much.
Right. Well, I think two-handed. I was looking at heavy weapons for 700, shotguns, even heavy pistols, assault rifles. I figured a sniper would go in there.
Yeah, that's true.
So I stole a $2,000 grenade launcher from someone, and I think my thought is I would like normal grenades and also like EMP grenades.
Okay,
if that's possible.
Sure.
But I guess this is not following the rules of the game, so it's entirely up to you.
Oh no, I'm sure EMP would be fine. The gear list is more like this is some of the things, not all of the things.
Representative list.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd run out of words. Especially
any corporation names off the top of your head, or can we make up some?
You can make up some. I have the Cyberpunk 2020 PDF too, which has a whole list of them. Oh, but they're pretty old, actually.
FantasyNameGenerators.com is always handy.
InfoComp, Merrill Asukaga, and Finch.
And Finch.
Petrochem, Trauma Team International, World News Service. Those are some weird names. Militech. It's straightforward. Arasaka. Oh, that's it. Okay. So yeah, you could just make up your own. Usually, I just choose a corporation that I really don't like. Like if I'm playing the Sprawl, it's always like Diz Corp or something, right? For Disney. Something like that.
The Amazon Basics grenade launcher.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing it.
It's delivered by drone.
I'm gonna go AMA Basics, but that's implied.
Yeah.
So it's not an expensive launcher, you know.
No.
But it's still trapped.
Yeah.
So gear slots. For a pusher,
You've got
what's kind of the suggestion?
like what to buy?
Yeah, what would a pusher need?
Well,
Always
everyone
have
needs
to
a
have the
gun.
light auto pistol because, well, there's always trouble somewhere.
Exactly.
Um,
You could get some cool optics. And similarly with tools, I would say don't even. I picture it like adventuring gear. You spend it when you need it.
tools.
Yeah, lockpicks, cutting torches, burglary tools, all
Gotcha.
that kind of stuff. Just yeah, $50 per item as you need it. Yeah, if this works properly, it'll be fun to grab a hold of some old retro modules and run it on this, kind of like what Jason does with World of Dungeons.
Do you treat kit, tools, and fancy items kind of all the same? They're just different price per.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Okay. Well, I may specify a couple of them. Okay.
So I just pick one of the moves for the class slot. Is that right?
As the booster, yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
no. So
Okay.
that's how the white hack does it. For this one, you consume your slot when you do one of those moves, and you can do any of them at any point.
Oh, okay. Got it. Cool.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we'll be playtesting.
Okay.
In the white hack, that's what. Yeah, you have like one slot, and you have slots equal to your level, and then you can permanently take one of those moves for each slot.
Got it.
But that feels kind of weird to me.
So for an ace, would it be okay to say that my slot would be like, I think there was some game that calls it visual calculus. Like she can just figure out exactly where she needs to shoot this grenade to bounce it around a corner, stuff like that. She knows like how to time stuff. So if a motorcycle's going down the street, she knows where to place it. She's just like has a knack for that. Is that like a
Sure? Yeah, that's
slot?
totally. Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. A slot for an ace is just any skill that you're just really good at. Then as you go up levels, you can get a couple more as well with the XP.
You said we're just starting with 500. Is that right?
Yeah, but we can be liberal about that just because it's a one shot. I think with a campaign, it's supposed to be like you start out as, the
Slubs.
yeah, exactly. But for a one shot, we can say that you guys, have whatever really you need within reason. Let me tell you about all of the upgrades I have.
Can you say a little bit more about the class slot? I'm also thinking about doing an ace. I'm not quite sure how that works.
So it can be any specific skill that you have, or even like a profession. So you could put like assassin, or you could put solo, right? If you're Cyberpunk 2020, which is basically like a straight samurai type thing. And then you get the fictional positioning around that in the story. So every time that you are doing something in the narrative that makes sense for what your profession and skills set is, then you can roll normally. Without it, you get disadvantage.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it can be whatever you like, really.
Okay, thanks.
So Fraser, I kind of want chrome hands.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Who doesn't, Mike?
That's $6,000.
Sure. So you were wounded in the past, and now you have chrome hands.
Yeah, I was a DJ. It was a laser
I
accident.
was a DJ. Nice. Setting the tone, Mike. The lasers, they got me.
Yeah.
So how do you decide on what your specialty is as a pusher? See, I'm looking at that, trying to think.
Yeah, so it's
kind
just
of-
basically whatever excites you about being a hacker. Make that your specialty. If you want to be able to do the neuromancer thing and make illusions, then make illusions your specialty. If you want it to be like just really good at getting into systems and stuff like that, then you can make it that. The specialty is sort of like in addition to you already having the fictional positioning of being a hacker. But if you make the specialty intrusion or whatever, then you're like, the best there ever was at specifically intrusions. You can ice the ice real good.
I kind of like the illusions thing. That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Mess with somebody else's head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll go that direction. So how are you marking some of these things on the sheets here? I mean, gear, I'm just kind of throwing down on the... Is there a notes?
There might be a notes,
Something.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to throw it.
Yeah.
So I put my specialty just in the jam section.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's all on the same page.
That would make life a little easier.
Oh, yes.
So there's listed here subdermal pocket, but it says it's a 2 foot by 4 foot space. Is that supposed to be inches?
It's supposed to be inches, yeah.
Like
That's
unzipping the whole front of your torso?
Yeah. That's funny because I think I actually just copy and pasted that too. So, whoops. Let's see.
Ah, I see something I want.
Is this taking you back, Victor?
No, I'm after thinking illusions, I'm like, you know what would be really good to go with that? A voice synthesizer.
Oh, yeah.
Ah. Mess with their head and sound like somebody they know, and that works for me.
How's everyone's shopping going? Is there enough stuff there that it's like interesting to people? Or does
I'm narrowing in on like my look, and so like knowing it's a one shot, I'm more concerned about how she looks than how she plays. So
Yeah.
It's kind of fun in that sense.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have a stolen grenade launcher, and then 525. Well, $625 worth of stuff. Is that good?
Sure.
I got a grenade launcher. I've got titanium knuckles, which I just counted as a basic weapon, a light weapon. Skin watch, transient tattoos, and light armor.
Cool. Yeah. I think people can be liberal with what they have. Because I'm going to bring the heat. No, I'm just kidding. You doing okay, Aaron?
I think I
Yeah.
got it.
Cool. What did you choose?
Arthur Ands is an ace mechanic. He works as a valet, and I'm imagining a world in which there are no more cars. Everything is public transportation, except for the 1%ers who maintain their own transportation. But there's no more parking because there are no more cars. So you need these like specialized valets at different places. So that's what I do, and I'm trying to I'm looking for my score. I'm looking for my car.
Cool. You sound so badass, you mechanic.
I'm going for a Fast and Furious vibe when I've never seen any of the movies ever.
No, that's
Uh-oh.
good. You make your own Fast and Furious. Can I give you I'll give you like a little bit of advice. It doesn't matter if you live, or it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. It just matters that you win. Yeah.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll write that one down. That seems poetic.
Yeah. PM.
DM.
And Mike, you're doing well?
I think so. Yeah. I kind of want to. So, my dude is Otto von Jacktrack. He was a punk DJ at one point, and there was the aforementioned laser accident. But he's turned into like a junkie since then. And I think like he probably, when they replaced his hands, like he likes the sensation of that. So just kind of has like been like jamming like these metal bits into his body. So even if they aren't like true cybernetics, because he's not particularly wealthy, and probably has been put back by like having these like chrome hand kind of things. Like he likes that like sensation of pain, and that probably is what has caused him to be a booster.
With chrome hands.
With chrome hands.
I can't even scratch records anymore. I just break them.
That's the problem. That's why he's depressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to go for that like tone of like that era of cyberpunk stuff where it's kind of like ridiculous but also like dark and like depressing, and
Yeah. Sweet. Let's get depressed, everyone.
but also in the weirdest way possible. Robot dragons.
Sorry, my sad's -1.
Yeah. So is everybody good with characters? If we were to introduce them? Yeah? Victor, you're good?
I think so.
Yeah? Cool. Okay. Oh, also, can you, when you're in Roll20, go to the top right corner, hit the little gear, and change your display name to your character name and your pronouns for the character as well?
Oh, could do that.
Otherwise, I think this will be a session where we keep asking each other what our characters' names are again. Anchor, nice. Good alias. Perfect, yeah. What Ray did there is great. Cool. Ooh. It's almost like you guys have played Cyberpunk 2020 before or something, or know this genre. I like all the Anchor session.
I'll be honest, I've never played a Cyberpunk RPG, but I have a long list of just names that I've thought of for RPGs in general, and like half of them are good Cyberpunk names. So I looked at that first, and then was like, Anchor Swain, what would that character look like? And here she is.
Cool. Yeah, feel free to upload any pictures for your characters too into the Roll20 sheets. Otto von Jacktrack. Sweet. Okay, so have we heard everything that we need to hear about Arthur, Aaron?
Can you hear me? Obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. The only other thing to know about Arthur is that he has an imaginary friend. I'm thinking here of like like the new the Star Trek reboot with Simon Pegg, and he's got the little guy that sort of hangs out with him.
That guy's real.
We were imaginary.
Okay. Like, we're not saying that because he's little, he doesn't exist, are we, Aaron? Because you're a dick. Just kidding.
That kind of like interlocutor. He's always got somebody that he's talking to. He's yeah.
Are they called Eleanor? And you look like whatchamacallit? Damn, what the Johnny Cage? Look, what's his name again? The guy from Gone in 60 Seconds. Let's ride. The guy that's in everything.
No.
He's like Kevin Bacon.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. You know that guy who's similar to Kevin Bacon. Yeah, be funny if you're because in that show he's like obsessed with Eleanor, right? Deep cut. Anyway, cool. So let's learn more about Otto von Jacktrack.
Yeah, so I think he kind of looks like Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan. So bald. Like, I don't think he ever wears like a shirt or like maybe wears a jacket every once in a while if it's cold. But like, yeah, like he's kind of like from this like underground like punk music scene, that kind of thing. So like, yeah, like I would say scars, you probably see like little bits of metal sticking out, but then like weird like tattoo patterns as well. So I think he does like kind of these like, I don't know, concentric squares. Is that concentric? Kind of like shapes coming out of the metal things all over his body. And then he's got like, I think similar to Spider Jerusalem, like a red and a blue, like 3D glasses as his contacts. So one eye is red, one eye is blue. Yeah, that's the other information to know about Otto von Jacktrack.
Cool. Do all your friends know that you're sad too? Because you can't spin the records anymore?
Or is the records anymor? They
like
know I'm angry about it. I think I probably keep a secret that I'm sad about it. They just think that I'm angry about it.
I see. And how about Anchor?
Anchor is has anyone here seen Annihilation? The
Yes.
recent movie. Basically Gina Rodriguez from that. I'm uploading a photo right now that I just hacked together in Photoshop because I wanted to look cyberpunk, and this is the closest I can get in 10 seconds. So there she is. Her skin's not actually green. I just threw a quick effect on it. So she's taller, Hispanic descent, wears a green satin jacket with gold and black details, has a floral pattern all the way across the back of it and down the sleeves. She rolls up the sleeves a lot because she has like reptile skin tattoos that are shifting along her arms and legs, not the sides of her neck. One of her arms has the skin watch, which is actually this like readout that has both the time and also like altitude and temperature and air pressure and stuff like that on it. To read all of that stuff. And she carries around this grenade launcher that's totally at odds with the rest of what she looks like because it's the AMA Basics. It's just like plain black matte plastic grenade launcher with a logo on the side. Yeah, I think it's one of those kind with the 6-round. No, I think it's better if it's a break action. So it's just one shot at a time. It's the Basics. It's not the elite model. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and she wears that jacket, and then you can see like a Kevlar vest underneath it that she's like spray painted.
What spray painted? What color?
I think it's probably purple with like some pink like airbrushing of a dragon.
Cool. Definitely plays D&D on the off nights. Oh, Arthur has a cybernetic thumb and index finger. Do we want to know how that happens? Yeah. No?
Laser.
Lasers. Yeah, lasers are very big in this setting, apparently.
He was at that club where the accident happened.
Mm.
Yeah, he lost his fingers when Otto von Jacktrack lost his arm.
They were supposed to be blanks, but they were live lasers.
Oh
Sorry, I don't mean to make this many jokes. Sorry.
No worries. And what about Session, Victor?
Okay, Session looks like pretty much a street kid. Um, not like chromed out like anything, but everything he's got has corporate logos all over it. So he carries like his gear around in a messenger bag, something you'd see delivery people kind of toting around. But that's where his deck is and all that. His life is in there. And then he's got corporate logos over top of corporate logos all over his like pants and jacket and really kind of if it weren't for it's almost like he's trying to stand out, probably because he feels like he doesn't stand out enough. That kind of thing.
Oh, so like, do the input jacks and stuff like that, are they pretty well covered then?
The input jacks are probably no, they're not. Or at least on the one side they're not. Shaved on the one side of the head, and the other side is kind of a multicolored long hair kind of thing.
A side mullet.
Sort of. A little bit kind of everywhere. It's not it's not controlled whatsoever.
And are the input jacks like Matrix? Like that kind of small, or are they like big, and do you like make a statement with them, right?
Big and kind of blocky. They just kind of stick out. So kind of off like behind the ears, almost like another set of ears kind of sticking off the back.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. I'm going to set the scene a little bit, then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back because we're almost at the hour. So I think there is a club that you guys all go to. Specifically, if you look at the picture and Roll20 on the left, it's like a neon strip where a whole bunch of different clubs go. You're in like the seedy part of town, right? But there's a particular club that flies like a signal, not like kind of like the bat signal, right? Except it's not the bat signal. And when they fly it, it means essentially that there's people there that are willing to give out work, essentially. Does anyone have an idea of what this symbol is? What symbol do we think it flies?
It's a floppy disk.
Oh god, okay.
Save us.
Sounds good. Yeah, save us. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, that's shining up. So you guys maybe, well, I guess since you just spent all your money, you probably need a job, right? So on the strip, it's like dirty, grungy. You see like there's a whole bunch of homeless people, and a lot of them you see are actually like cyberized, making it like known that it's pretty ubiquitous in this setting that everyone has some kind of cyber wear. It's generally, you guys have better cyberware than most people, but it's pretty ubiquitous as you move through. And we've already established that there's no cars, right? So I guess you're all taking public transit to the club. The clubs are in like weird different like the architecture is strange, like it's been modified by the club owners to a big degree. It's almost like before it would have been like cookie cutter, but as the neighborhood went shittier and the club owners and various proprietors of the place bought these things, they've sort of molded it into their own and made it kind of bastardizations of corporate logos. So you'll see like an actual shop that just looks like Pac-Man, but it has like the X's over its eyes, right? And like really strange things like that. The club itself, though, I think it looks like a giant deck. So on the outside, there's like all the keyboard stuff, right? That whatchamacallit, like a synthesizer keyboard facing you. And when you look through it, it's transparent, so you can see like the stairwells going up. And then on each level, you can see people partying, and there's like lasers and mist and stuff like that jetting out from the window. And in fact, there's probably even like little bits of like holes like this big or something like that that actually allow for the like vapor stuff to come out onto the street, and then outside there's these like, you know, Kiss style laser shows going on for it. And there's a big, oh, Aaron, if you have to be right back, why don't we go on break then? 5 minutes? No? Yes? What?
Sorry, I ran out. I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Oh, okay. I left, but I came back. Okay, cool. Then we'll continue with this. So there's a long lineup. There's a huge bouncer, but they're probably not quite as big as Jack Track, right? You could be a bouncer if you wanted to. This one's like a little bit smaller than you. There's instead of like a red carpet, it's like all purple and it's glittery. So as people walk on it, it's sort of like that movie Big, where they step on the giant keyboard, except that the light show changes along with as they're making progress in the line. But of course, since you guys are here to get a job and you saw the flying signal of the floppy disk, there's an alternate way in for you guys. What way do you think that is? How do you either let the bouncer know or just find the alternate route in for people that like runners like yourself that get work?
Maybe there's a shop next door that you go into. Some type of there's a pizza joint. I'm hungry. They only serve New York style pizza.
They only style what?
New York style pizza.
Oh, nice. Sounds like a bunch of dicks. And it's like connected to the to it, maybe. Like maybe they have some kind of arrangement, right, where drunk people can just stumble across this like little plastic way, like bridge into this towering pizza joint. And it's probably got like a giant cartoon cat or something like that with its arms up with like a giant slice of pizza like that. And it's like got its teeth on it, right? Like it's about to take a bite out of it. And it's called Kitty Corner.
This is a pizza megacorp we're talking about.
I don't know.
I have the logo right here. See?
Marvel, yeah. Yeah. Marvel at the state of pizza in this future. Yeah, I don't know if it's a megacorp, but actually, yeah, we'll say that it's like a franchise that one of the people runs, and that's sort of another like fuck you to the corporations, right? Like they're allowing these runners to like go through their shop to specifically get work in this place next door and kind of like do their bit for the neighborhood to subvert the man kind of thing. Yeah, subsidiary of a franchise, yeah. And yeah, there's people waiting for their pizzas and stuff like that, but just like normal, you guys just like fling open that little like flimsy bit for the counter to go back, and you walk up some stairs, go through the bridge, and as you go open some like double doors, which are like the old whatchamacallit, gym room doors, you know, like they're like heavy and double. At least mine were. I don't know. Maybe not everyone's is like that, but they're pretty heavy. You fling them open. And outside of before you fling them open, it's completely silent. And when you open it, it's just like an onslaught of sound, right? And it's like, they've got a huge stage up at the top where all the lasers are jetting out. If you were outside and saw the lasers and you on like the third floor, let's say, and you followed that in, you would get to the stage where these people are, you know, rocking out in true 90s style, right? The rocker boys and rocker girls of the scene. Um, there's a whole bunch of probably drugs being moved about on the dance floor, and there's a VIP section. I think that's sort of like a, what's it called? A mezzanine? Is that what it is? Where it's sort of like a veranda type thing above? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Either way, that's what it is. And I think that's where people go to get solicited for work. And it's sort of like you go up there and you get sized up by the employer, and they kind of like instinctually know if you're the people that they want on the job or not, right? But the person above you is someone that you've worked with before. Their name is Lucy. They've got like golden hair with streaks in it off to the side. I've been reading Wiccan and Divide, so it's definitely Lucifer from that. And Lucy. They've got like a white suit, very like David Bowie kind of looking, right? So kind of like pallid skin, but everybody in this place looks like they have like hardcore bisexual lighting going on, right? So even with her, she's looking more like neon than white, even though that you know what she looks like. And there's like a her white suit is like implanted with this sort of digital flashware that shows like the disc spinning, and then it keeps like evaporating through it. So it just sort of like blows up like a minefield, and then it goes shooting through her clothes. And she has like a cane and slams it down on the ground and points at you all and beckons you to come up. And maybe that's when we'll take our 5-minute break, if that's cool with y'all. So come back at we'll say 12. Does that sound good? Cool. I will see you soon.
Did you say you had a Pinterest board for this?
Yeah, yeah. Here you go. It's pretty hard to find good retro art that doesn't hypersexualize women. So
Oh yeah.
it's only got like 100 pins in it, but it's
Oh,
fairly
there
good.
it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this is good.
So you're saying that was kind of a thing back then?
Yeah, a lot of the art that I saw, even in the Cyberpunk 2021, is like the same 90s Marvel art, right? Where it's like,
Yep.
Rogue has the biggest boobs you've ever seen. She can't even support it, but it's fine. So,
Yeah.
like the first picture in Cyberpunk 2020 is that black and white pinup in lingerie, right, with the cybernetic arm.
Mm.
And you're like, yeah, that has something to do with the book, I guess. The chapters have like are just like, this is has nothing to do with this woman, but check it out.
Yeah,
Cool.
their art coordination wasn't always kind of the best tie-in to what the game was.
Yeah. Well, their thing was style over substance, right? So they were just like, look, it's pretty cool. What do you suppose this place is called, PS? This club. I think this is the club that you lost your fingers at.
Oh.
Jack Track. What was that called?
It's called the Fast Rewind.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel being back in this place? Is this the first time you've stepped foot after the accident?
I think I've probably like stepped in a couple times since the accident, but never come in this far. Like this is probably the most comfortable that I've felt. I think maybe when I would first come in, like was before I had my like chrome hand replacements. So like that kind of like stuck with me where now like I feel like I'm kind of like above it in a way, that I've reached this, yeah, I mean, I'm still like beleaguered, but like I feel like I've transcended that pain of what I used to be.
Cool. And what about Arthur? Were you being serious about the same accident?
No, I don't think.
Okay. Like, is this traumatic for you? So yeah, to reach the mezzanine, it's like across the floor, and then there's stairs, and then you go like around a hallway to it. But while you're like scanning the area of the places, super hopping, when you look below, you can see the other two floors, and they're like the timing of the lights are all working together, and the floor is semi-translucent up here, so you can see the other people down there dancing and stuff like that. But I think Anchor, you're looking down and you catch the eye of somebody. It's the nomad that you took your grenade launcher from. And they see you as well, and they point up at you, and they're like,
By nomad, you mean like delivery driver for Amico?
sure.
Okay. So yeah, I think I had to
I thought you said you stole it from somebody.
Yeah, but it's a corporate item. I think they were being taken somewhere, and I just broke in and stole one from the shipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Gotcha.
But no, that could totally be a person I had to beat up to get the grenade launcher out of their truck, and they got a pay cut because they lost a piece of inventory, right?
Yeah, you see, like a nomad too in Cyberpunk 2020 is somebody who has like a cyber bike, so they're like picture like Hell's Angels type people.
Okay,
right?
So was it maybe a personal delivery? Like somebody ordered this grenade launcher for some reason, and they got like 1 hour shipping, and I was like, "Hey, I want that."
Yeah.
Which one of you is the hacker? Is it Session?
Or it's Session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Session if it's all right with you, you tip me off like, hey, there's a grenade launcher in a shipment out on our street. You could go grab it. And I was like, sweet.
If you're fast, you can get it.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, so
Alright.
I don't think you like beat up the guy, but I think maybe he, like, as you're making off with it or something like that, he's done his due diligence and like tracked you somehow or something like that, right?
And I absolutely was wearing the same jacket with the floral pattern all over it, so
Yeah, there you
kind of
go.
hard to miss. Anyway, I think the grenade launcher is like partially disassembled in my backpack right now, but he definitely recognizes me. So I kind of like duck down a little bit. Maybe I'm
You
holding a
said
slice
that
of
you were
pizza.
tracked too, right?
When I fire it, yeah, but it's absolutely fine that they'll recognize me here too. I like this.
Sure.
I'm holding a slice of pizza. I somehow picked one up on our way through the kitchen.
Sure.
Because I do like kitty corner pizza, but I kind of like push farther in, like under the mezzanine, and I guess I go to like, is there like a back staircase up there, like the VIP stairs?
I pictured you guys have just gotten through into the space, and then above you, Lucy was like, come up, and then you all are just like standing in the middle of the dance floor with these people dancing. And in my head, it's like, that's Daft Punk song from Tron, Tron Legacy playing. And then that's when you look down and see that. So I think you're probably like a little ways away from the staircase that would take you to the mezzanine.
You just see her slip a brass knuckle out from an inside pocket of her jacket, or titanium knuckle from her jacket, and put it on her left hand, and then turn so she's not facing this person, and just walk into the crowd towards that staircase.
Oh, towards the person that's coming up, or towards the mezzanine?
Towards the mezzanine.
Oh, okay, cool. And so do you signal any of this to your compatriots, or what?
Maybe I catch someone's eye. Whose eye do I catch?
It looks like Aaron. Or Arthur, I mean.
Arthur's there. Arthur's got your back.
All right, so like I do the little head nod to Arthur and put on my brass knuckle, titanium knuckle. I'll just call it my knuckle, and head up towards the mezzanine.
Cool. So it's a similar like tactile carpet that as you're walking on it, the light show changes and stuff like that, and it also like kind of glitter bombs out. Like when you step on it, it sort of depresses, and then it looks like circuitry that is sending like a pulse through it, right? And then it also changes the lights and the music and stuff like that. So you're like effectively changing the beats and the song and all that kind of stuff as you go. And the VIP place is like really plush. There's like a hanging chandelier. There's a long couch that I can't remember the name of that turns into one of those. It's like one of those couches that you can lounge on. You know, I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, maybe that sounds right. And that's where Lucy is, like sprawled across it. Right? It all looks like furniture that you might see if you're watching The Crown, right? And it like Buckingham Palace, like really weird plush, but looks like it would be uncomfortable. And has that weird leather pleather backing stuff, right? Whether by age or from use, it definitely looks like it's not as perfect as new furniture. It seems like it's been broken in. Picture like the Matrix furniture, right? When Morpheus and them sit in it, it's like nice looking, but like fucked up and old. Under really weird bisexual lighting that's like changing and stuff like that, right? And of course, she has like a couple guards flanking her in the back. They don't have eyes; they have like Bateau eyes from Ghost in the Shell. So they're just like those round cylinders that oscillate and move around and just look like they're camera lenses. Basically, they're big, burly, have like black suits on with pinstripes, and you can tell they're packing just from the strategic bulges that they have, right? And Lucy gets up and says, "It took you long enough," and kind of like spreads her arms wide as if like that is the greeting that people give each other. and smiles at you all and says, welcome back, especially you, Jack Trek. Being kind of a sassy. I assume you're here for work then?
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. You're not here to spin some records or anything? We could
Fuck
use you
no.
back.
No. The synth shit really messed up the scene.
Yeah. This place isn't nearly as bumping as when you were spitting.
Good to know.
Was your thing like analog DJing compared to all these newfangled digital DJs?
Yeah, I think so.
You actually scratched records, right? Like
yeah.
everybody else
stuff.
is using those control pads.
I think it was probably like a slightly older technology, so it's kind of like 8 tracks, I think. So it was more analog than like this like walking on like carpets and shit. But yeah,
yeah, I'll say.
So it's kind of that intentional retro because it's retro.
Yeah.
That kind of
Yeah. Was your DJ handled Napster? I love this.
I think it was Jack Track. I think it was just Jack Track. I think that's
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, she says you'll be happy to know a debutante has gone missing, and we all weep for her. And she like closes her eyes and looks like she's physically straining, and then looks really happy, and an actual one single tear falls down. As it falls to the ground too, I think if you're having an eye out, it's a similar sort of situation, except this is a one pane glass, so all of you can look down and you can see what's happening on the floor. But if they look up, all they see is the actual wall, right? But if anyone's paying attention, like Anchor, you see that guy like finally make his way up, and he's like shoving people aside and like looking really pissed. Maybe like a guard or something goes and puts their hand on his chest and he just clocks them out, right? But Lucy continues meanwhile if you don't do anything.
Anchor is gonna go. Are the guards in this room by the door that we came in?
They're behind Lucy, so on the far side of the wall from you.
Can I tell if they've noticed this person coming in?
Not yet.
Okay. And do we trust Lucy? You said they've given us one job or something.
Yeah, I would say like everyone in this world probably trusts people as like far as they could throw them, though.
Yeah. Anchor pulls up her sleeve to reveal the skin watch and taps it because she's an asshole, and she's like, "All right, we're on a tight schedule here." And she like looks over her shoulder. Do you want us to clean up this debutante? The ones who come in for them? What's the deal?
I think Lucy has like a vein that pulses a little bit, right? She doesn't lose composure or anything, but it gets pretty thick and protruding, and she sort of like bows her head a little bit, like as if you're a debutante as well, right? Like, oh, let me serve you as well. No, the debutante has gone missing in the far sides, which is just like the projects. Or actually, she says, yeah, we'll go full on Saskatoon, and it says that the debutante's being held somewhere in the alphabets, and they call it the alphabets because all of the street names are just like A, B, C, D, E, etc. And it's kind of like ghetto-ish area. Somewhere in the alphabets, our debutante lies, and some very important people would like her back. Naturally, they reached out to me because I have a sterling record to maintain. So I guess what I need to know is if you can handle this or not. And she sort of like scrutinizes you.
Name, face, other parties involved. I need more detail.
I think, Session, do you have like flashware or whatever on you? Like some kind of storage device that she could just like flick the details to you?
Oh yeah, I would have something kind of like reach into my bag and pull out some cables and kind of start typing away on a tiny little keyboard thing.
Yeah, maybe she like, I know, it's like kind of. So she was smoking a cigarette this whole time, right? And she stopped smoking it, and you can tell that it's like an e-cig. It just looked like really um, like realistic or whatever. And then she takes it and puts it in her hands there, and then she flicks it at you as if like dismissing a cigarette really fast. But it's also like a flash drive with all the details, right? And she looks at you and she's like, "You better not fuck this up for me. Like I said, my reputation is as sterling as my suit," and it's like, perfectly white now. And then later on, like a few seconds later, one of the discs explodes again, and there's like comets shooting through the suit, right? You haven't failed me before, but that's true of everyone for the first time.
Okay, so this data device, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in, plug it in, that kind of thing, and scan it to make sure nothing's going to like fry my equipment on the way as I access whatever data's on there.
Right.
While you're doing that too, Arthur's got his hand on your shoulder and he's like pushing, like just trying to push us toward an exit.
And I don't realize I'm walking. I'm just kind of in doing my thing and not paying attention, and you're walking me over. And
yeah, you're just like doing the.
I look up in a minute or two, and she's not in front of me anymore. She's back there somewhere.
Well, the only way to get out is either like back the way you came, or through the door that the guards are guarding, which presumably would lead to like further recesses in the place, like wherever Lucy hangs out.
Yeah,
so
where I'm going to.
That's where you're going to.
The guards.
I think as you guys like move forward, Lucy's like, "The exit, sir, is the other way," right? Unless you're trying to get to my bed, which we can talk about that when you finish the job. You'll need to be going that way, and I think that's when the two guards like step forward and they look down and see this guy like basically barreling towards y'all, and they like put a hand on Lucy and kind of like do the head back thing, and Lucy starts giggling as the guy like rounds the corner, and she says, "Oh, is it to be an audition for the job then?" and starts like squealing basically.
As he comes around the corner, do I from what I'm doing, do I notice this is kind of, wait, I'm getting turned around here by these guards and see that?
Yeah, it seems like you're being shuffled around. Yeah.
I wanna mess with his head and make it like the four of us aren't here.
Oh, like as he rounds the corner, so it's just like an empty
corner, and there's nobody else here besides her and her guards.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think this guy has like cyberized arms and stuff like that too. So I think that would be perfect.
Or can get in.
Yeah, that's how you like hack him to his synapses, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the danger here, though, is if this doesn't work, the only person that he will be able to see is you. You'll be the primary target, right? So it's either like everyone's gone or you're the only one.
Okay.
And he's got a weapon or two, that's for sure. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Cool. So how do you feel? And then roll with that modifier.
In
the roll 20s.
Pull my sheet back up. I closed it. How do I feel?
This big burly dude who looks like a Hell's Angel with cybernetic parts is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm in control of his mind. I feel pretty powerful.
Okay.
Until he gives me reason to not feel that way.
Right.
Okay. So how do you want me to roll? Or how does this?
I should be able to just click it.
Did anyone else assign stats? I don't know if that was mentioned.
You didn't.
Standard Dungeon World array, +2, +1, +1, 0, 0, -1, and you assign those to the moods or to the states.
Yeah, don't write the plus into the boxes though. So if it's positive, just the number. Yeah.
Okay, that I hadn't done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I should have gone over that. So the highest one, of course, is like the emotion that you're most well adjusted to and probably are feeling most of the time. And then the minus one is stuff that you don't deal with well, right? So it's a way
Okay.
of kind of arraying the personality of your character as well.
Okay.
And yes, and as Ray said, it's a standard Dungeon World array stats.
And how, standard.
So 2, 1, 1, 0, 0, -1.
Okay. 2, 1. Yeah, I put one in powerful, so I'm going to go ahead and roll that one.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what just hit the.
If you hit the button that says roll dice, it should ask you what.
Oh, the one that says roll dice. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then you'll hit the button next to powerful, and oh, you already did it. Yeah. So it adds the little thing letting you know how far along you are with it. And you got a 9. Cool. So
So in this game, that was a 2d6 roll because this is something that they're specialized at, right?
yeah. So if it wasn't, then you'd have disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the sheet should be able to do disadvantage as well, because the veil does it. It might be
Yeah, it's there when you hit roll. You can choose
okay.
the difficulty.
Cool. Awesome. So that's good. So 7 and 9, partial success, you succeed, but there's a catch, a compromise, a complication, retribution to follow. What was at stake is not lost, but it may still be in jeopardy. So let's see. You hack it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think you hack him, he can't see everything, but instead of being like completely surprised and assuming that just nobody's there, he starts calling out, and he's got like his weapon. He pulls out like an auto pistol, and he's like, I don't know where you are, but I know that you're in here somewhere. He's like, I'll just pray and spray if you don't come out. Whatever you're doing, you better hold up.
Middle of this, I hit him across the jaw with my titanium knuckles from the side. He's walking forward, right?
Yeah, he's just sort of doing that like blind man stumbly thing with the auto pistol, right?
Yeah, so here's my power gamer thing, using my visual calculus. I've seen him coming the whole way. I walked around the side of the room, waited for him to come in and just get the perfect angle on him.
Nice. Okay, sounds good.
I feel powerful.
I bet you do, yeah. You would. Cool. So yeah, we'll say that if you what the risk is though is that if you miss, you give away your location, right?
And presumably he starts shooting me, right? Because
Yeah.
he'll know where the person who punched him is.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to do is knock him out here.
Yeah. And that's why I made the repercussions so heavy. Like he shoots you basically, right? Because it's basically dealing with the threat entirely with the stakes that you set. Okay, another mid result. So, I think maybe both happens, right? Like you wind up and you clock them. I'll let you take over the scene, but just know that in your narration that he also gets a shot off, and you take 2 harm, but you have armor as well, right? So
Yeah.
somewhere to like the midsection or whatever, and you tell me you have narrative control from the scene to let me know how all that happens.
Yeah. So I can knock him out is the thing. Cool. So I come out of nowhere basically, as far as he's concerned, and just get one titanium fist, a left hook across the jaw. I think I knock a few teeth loose. Maybe they're like steel teeth, but the roots aren't super solid. And at the same time, she's reaching down to try to grab the pistol, but he heard my footsteps, and so he was about to swing that way, and he was gonna fire. He fires right at like my midsection, and so like it cracks a plate in my armor, and like maybe like bruises a rib or something, goes off right in front of me, and then I'm able to like rip the twist the gun out of his hand as he falls down, and maybe I have to like let him go so that he'll actually fall down because otherwise I'm holding his arm.
Yeah.
But
Well, it could even.
I also want to,
You also what?
I also want to end up with his gun as well.
Oh yeah, sure. That's no problem. It could even be like the dread thing, right? Where you like wind up and hit him and we get the slow-mo effect of him crashing through the window onto like the next floor down or something.
I would say that if I was the cybernetically enhanced, but I'm just an ace. I don't think she's strong enough to actually hit him through the window.
Okay, fair enough. We'll leave that for the cyber leg people. Cool. I think yeah, so that happens, you end up with his gun. He's just like cold cocked right out, right? He's just like a big heap of muscle laying there. And Lucy sort of looks disappointed and like cocks her head and she's like, I thought that would be longer. But I could see that I picked the right people at least. So that's something. And then I think she's done business with you all before, right? So I think she looks at Arthur and kind of like smiles mischievously and she's like, he has a cyber bike and it's pretty nice. And you can see like the carabiner like on his pants over there. And she's like, he knows better than to stir up shit in my place. If his ride went missing, I wouldn't be sad.
I tip my hat to her, grab the keys.
Sweet. All right. And then we'll cut to maybe go into the alphabets unless people want to do something else. Maybe everybody's riding the cyber bike to it.
Does he have anything else on him that relates to this mission? If not, just skip it.
Or that doesn't relate to the mission and is worth some valuable Euro dollars.
That's true.
Let's see.
He was calling out to companions too, I think, right?
Yeah, he was yelling and it seemed like he was calling companions, yeah, but you didn't see anybody in the actual place, right? Like it was probably a thing where he was like talking on the phone or whatever, right? Let's see. He brought in an auto pistol. I'd say that maybe he has light armor on,
nice.
Like a Kevlar vest or something. And we could say just like 2 nebulous tool things that somebody can take, and then when you need it, it's the thing that you need.
Who needs the armor? I already have light armor.
Maybe like $200 cash on them or something.
Taking that.
Mine.
That means we just leveled up, guys.
Woohoo! Isn't the level up 2,000?
What?
What
That
is
was
the level?
1,000.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Level 2 is 1,000.
Oh, but the XP, you only get XP if you are messing up Megacorps, basically. Otherwise, it's just 1 XP per Euro dollar, and you got like $200, right?
But we could sell our items, right?
Oh, I guess so.
Isn't that OSR?
In
Yeah.
OSR. Yeah. I hadn't really thought about people just selling stuff to get XP. That's kind of funny. Sure. I wouldn't be against it. That's pretty funny though. Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna take one piece of nebulous gear and tool. Who wants the other one?
Well, if we don't sell the other one, we don't get a level up.
That's pretty funny. You're just like, so you're gonna sell everything. You're not gonna keep the Kevlar vest either, right?
I got chrome fists.
Mm.
No, I should probably take the armor.
All I know is you're not touching my bike.
Yeah.
The bike is worth a lot.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Only 1,500 though.
Only.
Well, if I'm going to be fighting people, I can take the armor. But I don't know. Is it better for everyone to have +1 harm? than for me to have a piece of armor. Sorry that I'm playing this game so crunchy.
No, that's fine.
What's the +1 harm from?
From level 2.
The only way we're getting $2,000 or $1,000 is if we sell the bike, right?
No.
How are we
Armor's
making...
worth 300. There was 200 euro dollars on him. The two EBs, basically what I put into Google Chat is the price of all the items. I've been checking that shop.
Hang on, is this just we pull out a phone and start scrolling Amico price listings and be like, how much is this? Oh man, damn it, it's on sale today. Yeah, I'm fine with selling it all to level up right now.
Yeah, do people want to do that?
It's fine by me. Yeah.
Cool. I'm sure there's some kind of, maybe you drop off the stuff. I like the idea of like the person who's the intermediary here is like the manager at the kitty corner next door, right? they're just like, yes, yeah, I'll take this, and
sorry, never mind. There's a repair price, but not like a selling. We get the full value back. We have the cash we got now, so we have 1,000 cash worth of junk.
Yep.
Cool.
But if you sell it, you don't level up. No, just kidding. That'd be funny. You like tip a guy and you're like, oh, I just feel myself going to level 1. Cool. Okay, so yeah, and the guy has like a implanted earpiece, and that's what you saw that he was like yelling into basically as he was going. So that might be a foreshadowing thing happening. Yeah.
Can we pull that earpiece off?
Can we take that too?
Out of it, no, it's like implanted in him.
Oh. If we try really hard.
I guess you could like cut it out of his skull or something, but I think Lucy would be like,
It's a little nasty.
Not on the carpet.
Yeah. I know you guys are professionals, but this is fucked up. Yeah, cool. So having reached level 2 in an interesting way that I didn't see coming. I like it though.
That's right.
Pardon?
It's a playtest, right?
Exactly. That's what this was for. You make your way along. So is the cyberbike big enough for everybody to ride on, you think? Like, does it have like a is it just like really long, or does it have like a sidecar or something too, or what?
I kind of want the shot of like 3 of us riding the train while one person's on the bike.
You're just like
muttering like, we should have sold that bike. We should have sold that bike.
Because we're just like looking out the windows at Arthur, just like zooming by, just like doing loops and like just weaving in and out of the train track pylons.
Nice.
Just so he doesn't get too far ahead of us.
What is on the public transit train that we see that makes it like all futuristic and retro, right? Like how does this differ from a normal public transit ride of today? Other than Arthur zooming around on a bike or beside it and around it.
I think there are. I'm not there, obviously, because. But I want there to be like booths where you can like sit in there and like, you know how when you take mass transit and they've got like the signs up for like online degrees. I think there are like little booths that you sit in and you do like 30-second lessons, like Duolingo style, in these sort of like booths. That's what I got.
So you and it's the more rough and ready mass transit. So you sit down, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah,
you're getting whatever the thing happens to be that they have on display at the moment.
I'm gonna pull up a random page in Wikipedia and find out what Anchor learns on this ride.
There's a guy who is walking down the aisle, and he's got like this like sort of like battery pack like strapped to his side, and he's just got this cable and with like a pronged end. He's just like saying like, "I'll jack you up for $1, jack you up for $1," and essentially like promising, I don't know, to like overclock essentially cybernetics and that kind of thing. But it's really shady and no one really wants to do it. Except maybe somebody does it, and you see them like start to kind of like fritz out,
get twitchy.
This is perfect because the Wikipedia article I pulled up is for Ellenberger Cottage in New York, which used to be a tuberculosis treatment center and now is for people who've jacked themselves up on too much cybernetics.
Oh, nice.
So like as I'm reading this on the screen behind me, this guy's going around offering this to people.
So you got your own PSA out of the whole thing.
What else? Any other details people could think of?
I don't think the train is lit. It's just the glow from these screens and whatever neon hair people have.
Sweet. Maybe that guy has a partner too in a trench coat, like in the Hercules Disney cartoon, and the guy goes up and he like spreads his trench coat and he's like, "You want to buy a Pentium?" And it's like all these chips, right?
Okay, so we're heading. What's our plan here?
It is the plan, yeah, on the public transit / I guess the cell phone.
I mean, you got the data session. I think we're all like sitting together again.
Yeah, what all's on that?
So there's a schematic, and it's like likely location for where subject is being held, and it's like a 3D schematic, but in the 80s version of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it has like a "you are here" GPS tracking thing for where you are on the bus and where you're going to, and they're being held on Street N at the top of like this burned out tower, and the alphabets are basically think of like Judge Dredd, right, where like they have all but abandoned this specific area because it's just full of gangs and crime, and so it's like really hard to get police officers out into this area
it's
because
not really worth it to the police to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
The corporate police, right? The regular PD doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
Both of them are like.
I was gonna say, have you ever read Jennifer Government?
No.
Everything's corporatized, the police and everything. So if they don't, if it isn't going to turn a profit for them, they won't do something about it.
Yeah, that sounds like what's happening. And it gets really like not full on Spawn where it's like dumpster fires in the alleyways and and really bleak things like that, but it's like on its way there, right? Like you can tell as you're going through the area that the houses slowly turned into like ones with like bars and gates and like beware of dogs and all that kind of stuff from before, where it seemed pretty normal and when you were on the strip. And there's like a growing sense in general of tension in this place, right? Like it seems like everybody is on edge. As you're going through, you'll see like old ladies moving their curtains aside and stuff to see what's going on, but there's not like that much foot traffic. And the foot traffic that you see is not the good sort of like subculture or cyberpunk stuff. Like you're not seeing the punks roll around, you're seeing the gangs roll around, right? You start seeing all the gang signs and tattoo, or not the tats, the sprays, what are those called? Tags, right? Yeah. You start seeing like tags everywhere, and then slowly it gives way to the true like heart of the alphabets, where it's like whatchamacallit, full-on dilapidated buildings where people squat in, and houses that are actually look like they've been completely burned down with more tags on them, right? People claiming ownership of having done these deeds and stuff like that. And it says that the people you're looking for, though, the people claiming responsibility and want those euro dollars in exchange for the person that is being held, is the Wild Things. And they look pretty wild in their pictures. There's like a couple of screenshots, and they look kind of like Cyberpunks in that they have mohawks and stuff like that. But the tattoos diverge from subculture to more like prison stuff. Like if you've seen Eastern Promises, stuff like that, where like their body tells the story of what they've done in prison, and now they're sort of like running things for the gang. And the whole idea was that this debutante, there's two options. You'll get more money if you kill everybody that's holding them, or you've been authorized, like you have a bank account or whatever, to just pay them the ransom and extract her. But based on like these people kind of have like a ring of this going on. This is sort of like their staple maneuver to get funds for their gang. And in the past, what has happened is they've just executed everybody, right? Like whoever came to give them the money is dead. They take the money, they kill the debutante or whoever it is, right? And then they just do this over and over again. So it's basically like you should probably just kill them all if you're able to. But if you're able to make the deal, then great. Cool. So what is the plan? Also, there is a couple, like it shows locally like locations for like snipers and stuff like that, right? As you're analyzing it in your data.
Oh, okay. So places where
there might be
good locations for that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think I'll point out some of those to the rest of the crew here and say, what are we going to do about? Are we doing the front door here, or are we finding a side door in?
If we have to go front door, I can go front door, but side door is always a nice way to go.
Side door is the best door.
Yeah.
They said that they've marked the building that you're supposed to go to with a large red circle with a white dot in the center. So literally like a target, right?
The other thing is we could have Otto go in the front door and just like make a scene, while the rest of the people kind of like sneak in a side door if they can find a side door or a back door or something like that. If we think that's doable.
What info do I have on their security in this location? Can I pull up any of that kind of information?
Sure. Let's see. Nice. I'm writing like the stats on the Cyberpunk 2020 book, and it's like cyberware, 20% chance of any random implant. Let's see. So it says that basically there's probably going to be between 4 and 10 of them on this specific location, but the territory in general might have like 5 or 10 more of them. If like, gunfire were to erupt or something like that and they were brought to the location. But it seems like based on their intelligence, they only believe that like a small sect within this gang are the ones that like actually pull off this stuff. It's not like a whole gang thing. It's individual members that are running the scam over and over and over again, essentially.
Okay.
And they're pretty much just thugs. Like they said that they have probably like sniper nests and stuff set up, but they're not actually snipers. They're more like busters who are actually like ramped up on drugs, like PSP like stuff, basically, where if you mess with them, they'll like essentially hit themselves with this syringe full of substance and then like go wild on you.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of sniper locations, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it
about we,
always makes you a little uncomfortable.
how about we mess with the ventilation? Are they in some kind of building? Done
Yeah.
this before, haven't I?
Yeah, it's like I'm picturing in my head, if you've seen Blade Runner, the one where they're like camped out in that dilapidated kind of like high rise, right?
So yeah, let's make it really hot in there.
It's getting hot in here. Yeah. Cool. So is that one of
Um,
the tools that you?
I was gonna say that sounds what you said. That actually sounds like a. What if I make it feel really hot in there to them?
Oh, like hacking them
I
all.
actually turn the temperature up. I hack into the place. Anybody who's got the cybernetics or whatever, I just start messing with them what they feel for the temperature in the area. Make them uncomfortable, so they don't want to be in there anymore,
Mm.
or
So
until they decide to go figure out what the problem is.
right.
Maybe I can hack the locks to essentially create a path for them to take down or out.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
the locks are locked except for one, which takes them in a stairwell, and then the only door that's open is on the second floor, and essentially steer them right into us.
Cool.
So funnel them to us and then deal with them.
So you make it feel like they're really hot, and then when they're exiting, they
Just
go
start, yeah,
the
just
path.
start. Yep.
And then just line them up as they walk out the door. You just pop them.
Just catch
Another
them
one
as they come out the door.
Cool.
Works for me.
Cool. I like that. Yeah. Where we could say that the AC units could be wherever you think. Maybe usually they're just on the side of the buildings, but for high rises and stuff, it's usually on the top, right? It's usually
Yeah,
on the.
I wasn't necessarily thinking of actually making it hot in there. I was thinking of messing with them so they thought it was hot in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? That way
Yeah.
it doesn't cause us any issues when we go in.
Right. Cool. Okay. So you guys get off your public transport in the alphabets. I like that. Cool. So I guess
I get
then
that maybe I'm actually later than them because I have to find a place to hide this thing. I'm like 3 blocks away. And, I'm just huffing it.
sweet. Nice. Should we take the last break now then? And then hopefully Ray will be back after?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, looks like he's back now, but
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
My girlfriend came back earlier than expected from her shift at the emergency vet hospital, so I don't know if I'll be able to do this last hour. Is that?
Oh, you
is
got
that
to
gonna be a
take off
problem?
now?
Yeah, I thought I
Oh.
could make it till 7, but if that's gonna be an issue, I can probably make it work, but I would rather not for her sake.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it would be shitty for her just sitting there. So, for
So
sure.
I think Anchor gets a call from her girlfriend who just came home from a day of work, and like I don't know if we're off the train yet, but if we are, then she like got off like a stop early and like waited at that stop for the next train back over to wherever it is she lives, and she's like, this job doesn't sound like it's worth it. We don't even know who we're going for. And she just pieces out because she's a jerk. I'm really sorry, but I can't do another hour of this. So
Yeah.
this was fun. I love cyberpunk stuff. So hopefully this works out again.
Mhm.
So sorry I
Yeah.
have to leave, but have fun, everyone.
Yeah, no problem. See you.
Letting me.
No problem.
Okay, so let's come back at 7 then.
Okay.
For the last one. Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
Cool.
Did you play a bunch of modules of this before then, Victor?
Well, back when we played, it was we were just post high school kids, so we were still kind of high school mentality, and nobody really played with modules with this game. It was the GM would have like a mission or something, but it was more a matter of you got there, you created your character that night, you knew the character was going to be dead by the end of the night because you were all going to backstab each other, and it was just going to just garbage fire. That's all Cyberpunk ever turned out to be for us. So
everyone would backstab each other?
We'd go into it. Yeah, nobody would trust each other. Like, you're on a crew, you got to trust each other to do a mission, but nobody trusted each other because, well, everybody was out to backstab each other.
Interesting.
It was just weird. it was often very anticlimactic, unless you count somebody storming off being climactic.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird. We also had a couple of very adversarial GMs that were like that with everything. So it's like,
just wanted to kill you.
yeah, pretty much power trip. Yeah,
nice.
we had at least one that was like that kind of with any game you played with him, and I don't know why anybody ever played with him, but they did. Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it.
Things we do when we're young.
Because nobody else wanted to run the game. What's that?
Oh, nothing. Okay, yeah. So let's try to. We'll try to get this done. I think at 20, and then I want to do a debrief about the session and how people felt about it and everything, and then we'll be done. So everyone's off the bus. You know the building you're gonna go to. You kind of have a plan, right? Like you're gonna hack the people inside of it.
Yep.
And so I think though the difficulty is going to be getting to the building unseen first, though, right? Is the first thing. So I think we'll get rolls from you all to get there unseen, assuming that's what you're doing.
Sorry, just to clarify, Mike, what is Otto? Like, I know his backstory, but what is his like?
Oh, what's his class? He's a booster, so he's just kind of like a brawler kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Have greater effect against large numbers and can take on 3 equally skilled and armed opponents per level without taking disadvantage on rolls.
Yeah.
So that means I can take on 6 people, i.e. almost the entire bunch of people in the thing.
The gang we're going to drive out of the building, he's going to deal with.
Drive them to me. You guys get the debutante. It might be nice to have a little backup.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Can you send only 2 at a time? Sweet. So what's the plan in the fiction of you guys getting to the building, though? Like, how do you do that? Just stick to the shadows and stuff like that? Or do you, like, go across rooftops or what?
All right. I got it.
Okay.
Nailed it. I park the motorcycle across the street to draw attention, and perhaps I have to trap it, right? Like, I have to like booby trap it because it's mine now, no one else's. Yeah, so we'll use that on one side of the building and try to draw people's attention to one side of the building. Maybe its alarm goes off, or like maybe we like trigger an alarm to go off, so everybody sees that there's this motorcycle out there, and we just sneak in the other direction.
Right, which is like a huge thing, right? Because, well, I'm sure some of the gang members might have nomads or something like that, but I think in general, any sort of motorized transportation is a big deal in the setting you were saying, right?
Right.
So, cool. So, nice. I could see of adjudicating this two ways. Either rolls from people to kind of like that's the plan and you sneak through to get to the place after drawing people's attention and stuff like that. Or I could just do a fortune roll, right? And just see how well it works for everybody. But how do people feel about that?
I think we make rolls.
Yeah.
I want to see what the results are.
Yeah.
I want to feel something.
Yeah, so how do people feel with this plan? Does everybody feel secure?
I feel pretty scared in this neighborhood.
Yeah. Fair enough. What?
Go ahead.
I just thought it was funny because I tentatively named this episode Where the Wild Things Go.
I think this is probably a neighborhood that I frequent to some extent to get to get high or like jacked up or get like these like fake implants or whatever just for the sake of having like the sensation of getting an implant. So I feel like I'm not too concerned here.
Oh, like whether people see you or not?
I mean, I think like I probably still want to approach this place stealthily so that like I'm not like people aren't like, oh yeah, that Otto von Jack Track dude was just wandering around right when this happened. So like I think like there's still like a component of like approaching this place stealthily, but I think that like compared to maybe the other people, like Otto is not like scared of this at all. Like this is just like normal like day-to-day life for him.
This is just how the Jack Track be.
Yeah.
Look like you belong here.
Cool. So I think the risks are being spotted prematurely.
All right.
So
just roll with whatever emotion it is that you're feeling currently.
Each of us, right?
Yeah.
So you hit what? You hit the...
Hit roll dice and then select the emotion that you're feeling.
Just go through there, okay.
Yeah. Cool. Ooh, that's pretty good. Ooh. Cool.
That's what happens when you go to the alphabet scared, man. They smell fear in the alphabets.
That's awesome. So I think the alarm goes off, right? Arthur got a bid result. Session got a 6. So let's see. So maybe each of you took your own way of going there.
A separate route, yeah.
Yeah, especially because Anchor had to like booby trap it or set it up or whatever, right, first, so that it would go off. And I think what happens is, as Anchor, you're about to set it off, a little kid like had followed you. They're in like a jumper or whatever. Yeah, well, like 8 or 9 years old or something like that. And they go up to you and they're like, "Mister, you shouldn't leave your bike out like that. People are gonna take that as soon as you get to the next block. I don't know if you've been here before." And they give you the like look, right? Like you're dumb. And at the same time, in the alleyway over where Session is getting situated to get into a position to hack everybody, right? I think... Oh, yeah. One of the guys who is a wild thing, you can tell that he has like a tattoo on his chest and it says wild. And it's like got neon and it's shifting like a snake and stuff like that, but it always
with
manages
a Y.
to say
W-Y.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wild. I'm wild. I can't spell. They like, you hear kicking open of a door, and I think you're just rounding the corner when the door opens to this place, and one of the guys like he's about to like unzip his pants to take like a whiz when he sees you, and then he's like just about to like call or grab like a knife or a gun or something like that. So what do you do?
Um,
He went out for a piss, but saw you instead.
hmm.
Hack his penis.
So
Which
he's
is
gonna try and kind of buzz them. I think.
yeah, like raise the alarm or something, right?
Okay.
He's right now he's just like in stunned, like you're like looking at him and you're looking at each other in like stunned silence, but then you can tell right as that ends, something's gonna happen. He's gonna like go for his gun and yell or something like that, right?
Okay. Um.
Resist, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do I do? I think I'm kind of like deer in the headlights a bit here with him. Like,
Well, if you were heading up a similar way as Otto, if you're in the headlights, maybe Otto acts. Unless you have something in
Oh,
mind.
I was gonna say maybe, yeah. Well, here's what I'm thinking. So
Okay.
I was being scared going through the neighborhood here. I'm like avoiding shadows street by street, and then I get to this one,
Mhm.
and it's not actually a shadow. It's him coming out the door, and it's like, oh, um, yeah, this is the wrong street. It just one of those really play stupid situations, and try to maybe convince him that, oh yeah, I'm no harm here. I'm headed to G. Shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, because probably all the street signs have been like ripped open or has
Yeah,
bullet holes and shit in them and stuff, right?
yeah.
So
And I kind
okay.
of give him a name. It's like, do you know where this guy lives?
Okay. That's funny. So it's definitely another risk, right? The risk is he doesn't believe you.
Yeah,
Um yeah. And then he'll probably move to like take you
do
on, right?
something then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how are you feeling now? Are you still afraid?
I would probably still be scared.
Yeah. Is this G?
G? Just yeah, it's gotta be.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So I think he like walks forward and he's like, "Oh, you're looking for G, huh? Is that what you're looking for?" And then what is it about your look that tells him that you're like a runner? Actually, like that maybe like he catches a glimpse of, right? Like a tattoo or
I think he's
piercing.
gonna see my data plugs because they're obvious. At least on the one side, they kind of stick out.
Yeah, so maybe what happens is you see his finger, like in the like cinematic, we just get a shot of his finger moving along it, and then he flips open the porch light, right? And like it's a light that also is one of those things that kills mosquitoes or whatever. And a mosquito comes by and gets like zapped at the same time as he looks at you and sees the data jack, and he's like, I don't think or I think he's like, I think you've found exactly what you've been looking for. And he pulls out an auto pistol and like plugs you in the stomach for 2 harm.
oh,
Oh,
whoa.
Whoa! It's a double fail, guys.
so where's your okay? So where's your harm at on this sheet?
Oh, on the sheet?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Oh, down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a bunch of boxes here. So, and I have no armor. So it's what, a light and then a moderate?
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
Not that that's a good deal, but
Yeah. No big deal. It's fine. So, I think the saving grace here, though, is that gunfire erupts around here all the time. So it's not like an automatic, like, oh
yeah,
shit.
that's not gonna call out to them. It may call out to our guys. Do you think you
Yeah.
guys would kind of notice? Hey, you're hearing. I mean, you're both coming similar routes to this
So-
building.
The way that Otto got here is he talked to one of his like homeless like street friends and borrowed his jacket and maybe messed up. Well, he's bald, and just kind of like wandered over and has been like during this whole interaction has been like hunched up, probably a little bit dazed because he's high on something, in the alley. And like just kind of like in a shadow, like looking like he's just some vagrant. And so, yeah, I am here, and I think I perhaps like stand up and approach this guy from behind,
Sure.
and crack my knuckles, my chrome knuckles, so it sounds like just like metal, like a gnashing against.
Flexing metal.
Yeah. And then can I just like punch this dude in the back of the head? Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. So why are you flexing your muscles then?
Just for effect. That's what the camera, we're doing the camera shot here. The camera just sees him like crack his knuckles with like a shrill metal noise, and in that like same instant. Yeah.
Right. So at the same time that he lets out a shot is when you're like thunk on the back of his head.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's my goal here. And I think
Okay.
I'm going to go powerful. I'm feeling pretty confident about all of this and that kind of thing. So that's...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wasn't even
Just miss.
Oh yeah, that's real good.
That's awesome. Okay,
Me
so
cracking my knuckles, I assume, gave him
funny.
exactly the alert that he needed.
yeah, I think the gun goes off, you're sneaking up behind, and that's when like the door opens and another one of them is like, what the fuck, right? And then he's got a old paw kind of shotgun and he lets it loose and you take 2 harm.
Yikes. Brutal GM.
I mean, there's 3 fails in a row.
Three fails in a row. We're in a bad neighborhood, and this is Cyberpunk.
Yeah. And that's when we cut across to the kid being like, "Hey, mister, you leave your car out and it's going to get stolen." Then you look to your left and there's like a house where the gunshots are going off, right? In the dark, flick, flick.
I say, you know what, kid? You're absolutely right. I hop on the bike and rev her up, and I take aim for the alleyway wherever they're at. And I want
Do you
to.
just like throw them the keys or something, or
I'm sorry.
you like give the keys to the kid?
No, I'm taking the bike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's
he's
like,
taking
what?
the faster way over to like our trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So let's say that there's a little bit of time between the shots, and you get there right after you see Otto get popped by like a shotgun and like goes flying back a little bit, right? Movie style.
Yeah. And I think I want to plow into these 2 guys.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that sounds fun. And it would definitely kill a bike.
That will definitely work.
Yeah. So just don't fail.
But
Like,
if you fail,
like
you
this.
kill.
Yeah. So how are you feeling ramming into these people with a bike?
Definitely scared, not for myself, but for the bike.
Nice.
It's his new bike.
It's a good bit of color.
I've already grown quite attached to it.
Nice.
All right. That'll play.
So, the obvious complication is that it messes up the bike a little bit, right?
Could have sold that bike.
Like maybe I go into the alley and I flip the bike on its side to escape, to essentially cut their legs out from underneath them, and the bike goes skittering down the alley, and I sort of jump off.
Yeah. And good news, I think you have your distraction. Right? I think this is probably like across the way in the high rise or whatever, lights are going on and stuff, right? And the large building with the red circle with a white dot in the center, people are rousing, and yeah, so at least you have a distraction. So what's the plan going from here?
I think we need to get session jacked in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, so you just run over to the building and try to jack in and change the stuff, or because
Yeah.
I think they're already going to be coming out though, probably, right?
Okay.
Because it definitely there was 2 gunshots and then whatever the sound of a bike killing people is.
Can I take I want to take the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the kind of we gotta loot these corpses,
The bodies.
because we got nothing.
The one guy had an auto pistol and the other guy had a shotgun. What else?
Which one do you want, Mike?
There's another light armor probably on the shotgun fella.
Oh, shotgun probably makes sense.
I think it might be a good idea to take the light armor.
Yeah, I'll take the light armor too.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna be fighting 10 people.
Yeah. So is the next scene you waiting just for them to run out into the street and you looking all cool, waiting for them and being like, da-dum, 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 da-dum.
I'm trying to think. I want to like create some kind of some mechanical contraption that's going to. Maybe I want to wedge the door in just in such a way that there's only like one body's width to get through, so that it essentially create a bottleneck for them to get out to us, or wherever
A very scrawny
inside.
body.
Yeah, very scrawny. If you're too fat, you can't get out. You must weigh 150 to get to us.
Yeah. Control the situation. Yes, exactly.
So, okay, so how would you do this to a door?
Maybe I yank off a piece of the muffler from the broken bike, and I jam it into the door frame.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I won't make you roll for that. That sounds good. So you jam it in there, and the goal is just to have only a few people be able to get to you at a time?
Well, I guess my question for the others is, do we really want to face them in an alley on their turf, or do we want to like find our way into the building, or like channel them into a hallway or something?
I think we probably find another way into the building and let them fight with that door, thinking somebody's out there outside that door.
Yeah, so it takes them a while to get
I mean, they think
through
somebody's out here already because somebody was shooting, and then they heard a bike, and then yeah.
I know that first punch didn't really work out all that well, but I am ready and prepared to punch some people. So as long as whatever our plan is involves me punching a lot of these guys, potentially shooting them too. Now that I have a shotgun, we're in good shape.
All right. How about we do both of those things? How about we
punch and shoot them?
Shoot. Wedge the door. Maybe we smash a window a little bit further down and work our way around, so that as they're like trying to get out of this door, we're in the hallway to punch and shoot.
Okay, so it's gonna be like the Daredevil hallway scene.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
exactly what it's going to be like.
Yeah, you take on just the right amount per
Sit
time.
there and just like shrug.
Yeah, and there was, what was it? It was like 8 people in the building, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could take on 6 of them at a time if
Yep.
you needed. So, yeah, I could see it going 2 ways. I could say that like 6 people run out into the street and you can take them on and have like a really cool moment to do that. And then there's 2 people left up there and you split the party or something, or everybody deals with the people at the bottom or something and then you move up. Or as you say, just like try to move through the hallway and hit them each at like a different encounter each time, basically, right? Like you're trying to limit it each time to like 2 per thing or something like that, right?
With the right distraction or whatever, like lead a couple down different hallways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
The benefit of like mechanically the benefit of um your booster taking on 6 at a time though is it's just one roll versus probably like 3 rolls of 2 people though, right?
Yeah, true, but
I'll let the booster decide.
What is cool for you, Mike, as a player? What do you want to see on camera?
I don't know. I like this. I kind of like them like all like mobbing me at one time.
Yeah,
To be
like
honest.
just a really cool street scene with like the rain pouring down and you just like messing
Yeah.
people up.
Yeah, like classic kind of like samurai or
Yeah, so
old
you're
boy-esque.
the one that draws them all as sort of the distraction as the other two go up and try to get
I
the
think that.
debutante.
Yeah.
Yeah, is everybody down for this
If
plan?
they're happy with that, then I'm happy
Sure.
with that.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we get like a shot of you two, running up the stairs or whatever as the elevator's coming down with this group, right? And as the elevator door dings, we get the cyberpunk looking gang people, all that say wild, right, on their chests, and they've got like mohawks and it's all different colors and stuff like that. They have tattoos that tell the story of their life and their gang and all that stuff, and a couple of them have bats. Like I think that they're all not like I said, they're not really the ones in the building. You already knew, and I told you that they weren't like shooters. They were like all booster type people, right? So I think if they have any weapons, it's like melee stuff, right? Like a pipe and a baseball
Nice.
bat and shit.
Yeah,
Like they're not gonna like autopilot or pistol you before you get to them and stuff. And the rain's coming down. We got like a very Blade Runner straight run down thing, and I think they just form like a grid around you, right? Before you launch into action. And so how are you feeling taking on 6 people in the street in the rain?
So what I do is I've got all these like metal bolts and things like that. And so I just start like churning them essentially to get like an adrenaline rush. And so initially here, I'm going to feel angry, or it's just like, like pain and just like as I'm kind of like twisting all of these things.
As your like hands and stuff are connecting with them, are you like reliving the trauma of like your hands getting cut off too, and you're just like
oh
taking
yeah,
it
I think
all
the
of them?
camera is like cutting back to like me like DJing with these 8 tracks and then the lasers sweeping around and then
And then just like pure fury on your face as the fists coming in, right?
yeah, and then we see there's like one shot of like the in the emergency room or whatever, or not the emergency room, the hospital, with the hands getting grafted on, and then him going.
I feel like your actor must be like Mickey Rourke or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably about right.
Yeah, cool. So, setting stakes for the fight, I think you could, like literally kill them all, but I think what's at stake is probably like 3 harm with that. If you're wanting to knock them all out, I'd probably put like 2 harm on the table.
Oh, let's
Kill
take them
them
all out.
Okay, because you have armor too, right?
Yep, and we have a +1
Yeah,
harm too, so I've got some harm to deal here.
Yeah, cool. So, mid result and a fail.
Okay.
3 harms coming.
And then this is where I can use a class slot, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to take number 1, which is while in melee combat, take advantage, rolling 3d6 instead of 2.
Boom.
So I think I hit the one with the arrow up, right? Or do you just want me to?
I think when you roll dice, it should ask you.
Oh yeah. So this is 3d6 kh2. That sounds right.
Yeah.
If it's not, we can figure it out from the math.
12 is pretty good. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So and I don't know if you saw, but 12 is a bonus effect. as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So let's see. Let me see what I wrote. Total beyond 12 is a critical success. You gain an additional benefit, effect, or advantage in the doing now or later.
Nice.
So what is it that you would like?
How about if I would would it make sense if during the fight like I bust a hole in the wall and that can be like an escape route?
Sure, like for them
Yeah.
or something. Sure, yeah, I like that. You could probably do something better than that, even though, right?
Better than that.
Well, I think
The
that
whole
the
building falls down?
yeah, that's what
Not with us in it, I hope.
I was thinking. Like the two people up there are distracted already, and they're watching the fight, right?
Oh.
Like
They're probably at the window when we get into the room behind them.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh shit, our guys are
Yeah,
getting
no, I like that. That helps out better. That's more
Okay.
reasonable.
Yeah, and
Maybe
I
there's
think-
maybe it's still bust a hole in the wall.
Sure.
Like as I'm like throwing guys into it and like punching them like up against the wall and yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to narrate anything else about that scene?
Well, yeah, like I think it's I don't know. It just looks like how these scenes always look. So
you look like you're John Wicking them, basically.
yeah, and like I probably like pull out the shotgun at some point and like just use that as like a melee weapon and like throwing them against each other and like just
Use
whatever
one guy against another, and
yeah. And then whatever is like just like laying around, like if there's just like garbage in the street, like I'm throwing garbage in their faces and like yeah.
Yeah. So and it's like a brutal thing, right? Like you don't stop until they're dead. So like all this rain, it starts to turn like crimson, right, as it's draining down
Ooh, I
the
like
streets.
that. Yeah. And there's just like you see like because everyone has cybernetic implants and that kind of thing, and you see like in the rain, like as these things get kind of like torn apart or broken, like there's just sparks shooting out as the water hits these spots and is like shorting out these cybernetics and that kind of thing. Yeah, and maybe you see a bunch of like the cybernetic stuff just like spazzing out and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Some of the dead bodies are still like twitching and stuff, right?
Yep.
With the motors and their cybernetics still going. Cool. Yeah, you fucked them up good. So, and that's when we cut to like 3 floors up, right? You guys come out of the elevator, and it's like it's not even like furnished. It looks like a studio apartment that hasn't been furnished yet. So you can see like the actual beams holding up the place and stuff like that. And this like it would be like a Spanish woman with blonde hair that's like dyed very like 80s, right? Like it looks like it's blonde, platinum blonde dyed. And it's like what's in or whatever. And she's just like got she's on the floor and actually like got her legs shackled to the actual floor, like into a beam or something like that. And then yeah, you see like the two guys like sort of murmuring as like, you know, they watch their their gang members and friends get the shit beat out of them until they're dead, essentially. And one of them is like, should we go help? Right? One of them is like a little bit of a bigger guy, and one is like really short. I picture them as like a Joe Pesci, basically. And then the other guy, like the bigger guy, as sort of not like a Mickey Rourke size, right? Like not huge, but still imposing, in that they're like built and stuff like that. And they're both wearing jean jackets that say "Wild" on them, with like a face roaring on the back, right? It's like a literal riff on the where the wild things are, because they think they're real cool. So what do you guys do?
I say if they were like watching out the window, we send them out the window.
Yeah. So like you just kick them, they're out, or what? Like it's the same as Apocalypse World, right? Like they're unsuspecting, so you basically have narrative control to take them out, pretty much. So what do you do to them? Unless you do something really intricate, then I might be like, that's a roll.
No, this is interacting with other people. I keep that as simple as possible. I don't do it too well.
Mm. So you like cyber them or anything, or you just good old fashioned boot out the window?
Go shove them. It's like, oh, you're out the window.
Cool. Yeah, so like maybe we get a shot of Otto finally like regaining his senses as his like bloody metal knuckles are dripping blood or whatever. And then like 5 seconds later there's like a thud, right? They're like,
From another two.
Like that.
yeah. And like sweet. I think that might even be a good place to end it then, because I want enough time to talk about it, if that's okay with you guys, to end on that note. Is that cool?
Sure.
Cool. So yeah, we'll say, you know, you get the debutante and you get the cash and all that. It's raining cats and dudes. Exactly. And sweet. So you won the day. So, what are your guys' general impressions of the game? And then I'll ask some targeted questions, I think, afterwards. One thing that I noticed is that I need to specify weapon damage, which I did not do.
Mm-hmm.
That would be wise. It'll just be the Apocalypse World, like 2 harm, 3 harm, that kind of stuff. But probably important.
Yeah. You've got slots for items when setting your character up, but you've also got costs, which is kind of weird. It's kind of the slots kind of make me feel more Dungeon World-ish, but the cost feels more 2020. But I don't know if they feel like they mesh well. I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
Like well, that was just me trying to do like a load limit, and
to get yeah,
and to change the classes a little bit, right? Like the booster guys can get more jacked up on cybernetics than the little fellas and stuff like that, like the hackers and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess I was looking more at just my the archetype I had picked. Yeah.
Yeah, I could do away with load, but then my worry is that people are gonna go really crazy, getting lots of like if there's no limit, then it seems like maybe people will be buying a whole bunch of weapons and then also having cyberware.
You could sort of blend it to where they have so much that was spent on cybernetics and so much that was spent on weapons or whatever. I mean, you could divvy that up into 2 categories or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if that's useful or not, but
like have a separate category for gear and a separate category for cyberware that you can get or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do so much in this and so much in that.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, I think the narrative takes care of some of that. Like, one, if you have a set dollar amount, there's really the first session is very limited in terms of what you can buy. So you can't really, jack yourself up on stuff. And then over time, like as you accumulate stuff, like narratively, that's just hanging off of you. You become conspicuous. You can't ride public transit. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's particularly necessary, but I like the blade system of like light, medium, heavy. I think that probably maybe is a stripped down version rather than the numbers, like 3 gear slots, 4 gear slots, 5 gear slots.
Yeah.
I also like one of the things that I like about the Veil is that everybody starts with the cybernetic, and maybe it's just a 1-tag cybernetic, but maybe something like that.
Yeah, if I decouple the 2, like the gear from cybernetics, then it would be fine, I think. And then because it's all just fictional positioning in the Veil anyway. So that could be a thing, and it definitely goes towards the cyberpunk aesthetic too, right? That everybody has an implant, and it could be even a good thing to get people on the same page of like you're all in some ways part of this subculture because you all have cybernetics as well, right?
Right.
It's sort of like marking you as the in crowd. So that could be a thing, yeah.
Something else that could kind of make them feel a little different, one feel a little more retro than the other, is just the descriptions of the cybernetics. I mean, that you just theme them a little different, and that might be all you need to kind of take care of the flavor from one to the other.
Yeah.
Might not be anything that and like was said, starting off with a limited budget, you're gonna lean to whatever you feel you're gonna need that first session, and beyond that, it's whatever you happen to get, whatever you happen to scrounge up, buy, coerce, find, whatever, and it'll just kind of go on its own.
Yeah. So load limits probably aren't necessary.
Probably not.
Yeah, because the economy is essentially like creating that limit for you, especially with as expensive as some of the things are.
Yeah.
Because that's like, yeah, like it would take a lot for me to scrounge up. I know, like, yeah, to scrounge up actually having chrome fists is quite a big, pile of money there.
It gives you something to work toward.
Yeah. I mean, that's the interesting, I think that's always the interesting thing about like these kind of like the thinking in the OSR games versus like what we typically play is that like the stuff we typically play is like you start out and you are a superhero essentially, like you're amazing at whatever you do, where like these kind of like old school games
you start out as nobody.
Yeah, you're a peasant.
Yeah, you start out as a nobody and then you're working your way to that, so it makes it kind of interesting. And so there's that little bit of like you kind of have to like turn your brain a little bit different way if you're used to playing as a really like cool person off the bat. But it's more about the adventure making you a cool person.
Cool. Yeah, well, I don't mind getting rid of that slot. It's one less thing to worry about then, and just have the class slot and the other stuff, and then people can just buy the stuff that they want. That's fine for me. Yeah.
One thing I do like is, and it's just your stats from the Veil. I really do like that. That is it feels different. I mean, you're confident in what you do. This is just how you do it, or how you approach it, or how you feel about it, and it makes you look at it a little different. And last time I played the Veil, I think was with you before the Veil finished on the Kickstarter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a while ago. But I really like that. So
yeah, I thought that the core die mechanic was solid. We just set stakes and then we roll.
Yep.
Right? Did everybody else think that too, as well?
Yeah, I always really like this system. The one thing I was wondering about is because everything's more like streamlined in a way, and like it's less about like exploring like these deeper emotional ideas. Like I kind of wonder if like if the emotional states, like I know that those map against like an actual emotion wheel and that kind of thing, but maybe just like spiking the terminology there in places to kind of like fit the theme that you're going for. So like, you know, like this is a dumb example, but like mad is rage and like sad is like dark or brooding or something like that. And like that kind of thing to kind of like capture like the different like, yeah, because I think the idea would be like people are going less deep into those emotions, but like picking up on like more like emotional tone. Yeah, the tone of like the entire like genre or subgenre or whatever.
Yeah,
trying to pick a vibe up from just how they're termed.
Yeah, it's like joyful might be like, you know, like ecstatic, or like what's that like spiked out like emotional like version of that, like, or like jumpy or like something like that, or
Yeah, so like label the emotions thematically appropriate to the retro cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
my thought
idea.
just being, yeah, you don't have to worry as much about like the depth of it because like everything is a bit more like streamlined. Like as a booster, like all my shit is just like fighting people. So like, yeah.
Cool.
And if you do decouple it from the wheel, I think you can get away with doing fewer states too. Again, depends on how much you want to simplify. So Mike and I are doing different iterations of hacking the veil in as a World of Dungeons kind of thing. And so we've been debating like how that actually works and whether or not that does work and so on and so forth. But if you wanted to, one of our ideas was to slice down the number of emotions to like 4 to make it more extreme and more manageable in this environment.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
And you
Yeah.
could do despondent and rebellious and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to look into. Cool.
It's
How do
fun.
people?
I like how you've stripped it down. I think that there's enough crunchiness with the dollars and cents of it all to sort of appeal to that side of things. I like the 3 archetypes. I particularly appreciated the examples. A rocker girl might sway stadiums of people to their cause with their musical instrument. Like just those one-liners are helpful in if you're not familiar with the genre. I think that those are really useful.
Yeah, so people, yeah, I was pretty happy with the archetype stuff. I think it would be nebulous enough that people coming in from Cyberpunk from wherever, even if they didn't play Cyberpunk 2020 and they didn't play the Veil, they could be like, oh, cool, this is
like whatever.
Yeah, and then just apply it to that and then just get going. So, yeah, I think that part was successful.
Oh, apparently I missed. You did have or I don't know if you added this in.
What?
I'm assuming I just missed it. I was just thinking about the XP money thing, and that you also get 1 XP for every euro dollar you get, unless it's from a day job. But then you've got semicolon. Only euro made when subverting or hurting an institution directly perpetuating capitalism and oppression counts for XP.
Yeah, that was the whole time.
I just can't read. But maybe just like restructuring the way that 2 sentences or like sentence is written to make it so that like you also get 1 XP for every euro dollar you get from hurting an institution directly perpetuating capitalism and oppression.
Yeah.
Because I think you probably picked up the language and then added the caveat on that and maybe just like combine them into one. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm totally in copy editor mode right now.
No worries. Yeah, that would be good. Sweet. Cool, and
Yes, cool. This is fun.
yeah, it seems like it's just needs a little bit of tweaking, and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think my goal in that people could use it as a light little system like Voodoo to run some Cyberpunk 2020 or whatever type modules. It seems like it would be able to do that just fine. So sweet. Any other things that you guys noticed, talked about, like, dislike?
Nope.
I'll add the harm to the weapons too. Add harm. That's important. And then sweet, yeah, and then I think we'll be done. Cool. Thanks a lot for playtesting it. I appreciate you guys switching from Blades to this at last minute to give it a go and see if it works. Especially with me like just making it up on the fly instead of having like an actual mission plan for you all and stuff like that. So I appreciate
Cyberpunk missions are pretty easy to come up with.
yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I thought that everyone had some pretty cool scenes, and I thought that I was really happy with the characters that you guys came up with. That was part of the main part of the playtest, to see if people could use that minimalistic character creation to make the cool things, and everybody came up with really interesting, flavorful stuff that was really cool. So I was super happy with that. I might even, if you guys are cool with it, I might even release it to put it on YouTube if people are cool with that. The playtest.
Fine. Yeah, fine by me.
Yeah. Aaron, you cool
Yeah.
with that? Cool. Okay. Cool. Well, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and thanks again.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks, Fraser.
Yep.
Mhm.
That was
See
fun.
ya.
Sure.
All right.